Upchuck Summer by Joel L. Schwartz, 8. Hey, Fred, will you turn off your flashlight? It's keeping me up. Okay, Richie, in a minute. What are you doing anyway? Nothing. I propped myself up on my elbows and stared in the direction of Fred's bunk. What are you reading? Oh, nothing. Let me see it. Go back to sleep and stop asking so many questions, said Fred. What are you getting snippy about? Nothing. Now quiet and let me read. I lay back down and pretended to go to sleep, but I was really trying to read the title of the book. Fred's fingers covered the first words, but the second word was pets. I never knew Fred was interested in animals. Move your fingers so I can see the rest of the title. He must have heard my thoughts because a minute later he moved them and I could see the first word in the title was Teacher's Pets. It sounded like a book about Chucky. I strained to see the picture on the cover, but it was too dark. Teacher's Pets? I said. Shh, said Fred. Let me see it. Will you go to sleep already? Come on, Fred, be a sport. Will you stop bugging me? The more Fred told me no, the more I wanted to see the book. He was so engrossed that he didn't see my hand sneaking over. As my fingers reached the front cover, he pulled away, ripping it off. You son of a bitch, he yelled. You ripped my book. I ripped your book? You ripped my book. You pulled away. Give me my cover back. No, I want to look at it. Oh my God, what kind of a school is this? There before my eyes were 3 gorgeous girls sitting on the teacher's desk. Girls in my school don't look like this. Where did you get this book? I stole it from my sister. Now give it back. Only if you promise to let me read it. I'll give it to you after I finish it. The good parts are easy to find. My sister folded over the edge of each page. See here, read this page. Fred handed me the book. The teacher slowly pulled down the shades as he... Oh my God! That's gross. That's disgusting. When can I read it? As soon as I'm finished. Now give it back to me. Okay, I said, but remember, you promised. My father had a couple of books like that on his night table, and so did some of the other people I babysit for. When the kids are asleep, I skim through looking for the good parts. One doctor I sat for had all sorts of books on sex, with pictures too. I look at my father's Playboys when he goes out. He hides them in the bottom drawer of his dresser. But I know where they are. Besides, Playboy, guess what magazine I like the best? Penthouse? No, I give up. What? Sports Illustrated. Every year around February, they have an issue with bathing suits in it, and you should see it. Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean. I've hidden the last 2 years' issues in my room. My father asked my mother, where's my copy of Sports Illustrated? And she said, that's what you get for leaving your things lying around the house. You should be more careful. My father yelled back, I know where things are until you move them. Hey, shut up, you guys, yelled Tom and Bill. We're trying to sleep. I'll finish the book in a couple of days and it's yours. Don't forget. I won't let you. 2 days later, I asked Fred if I could have the book, but he got angry and told me not to rush him. I had been thinking about some of the things Fred had read to me the other night, and they seemed sort of gross. I couldn't imagine letting a girl see me naked, although I would certainly like to see her. I've known about the facts of life since age 8, but the idea of doing what one is supposed to do with a girl and enjoying it seems yucky. Not me. In fact, I'm not much interested in girls. Well, I sort of am, but I'm not. I like playing baseball or volleyball with them if they are good athletes. I like talking to them sometimes about sports or movies. Well, maybe only sports, but that's all. I liked one girl for about a week in 7th grade, but then she got to be a pain. She wanted to walk to class with me and stay on the bus platform with me and talk to me in the hall before school. She used to call me on the phone every night and talk for hours about nothing. I didn't say very much, but even if I wanted to, there wasn't an opportunity. One day, her girlfriend asked me if I liked her, and I said she was okay. The next day, her girlfriend asked me if I liked her very much. I asked if she liked me, and she said she doesn't like you, she loves you. I was really flattered. Well, do you like her very much? She said, not very much, I said, but just okay. When her girlfriend told her what I said, I don't think she liked it because she never called me or waited for me in the hall or at the bus again. I really didn't care. The only other time I was with a girl, sort of, was at our 7th grade fun night. At the beginning of the year, my class had an assembly, like the one for the class trip, and we voted for a dance for one of the fun nights. Now, our idea of a dance and the teacher's idea of a dance were quite different. Our class wanted some type of disco dance with a band, lights, the whole thing. Instead, we had a square dance with a fat middle-aged lady in a checkered blouse and a ballooned-out dress screeching our instructions over a scratched record. When I heard there was going to be a square dance, I wasn't going. My parents said it was fun and Paul was going, so I went. The lady had everyone make a circle, boys on the outside and girls on the inside. She played some music and everyone went in opposite directions. When the music stopped, the person that was in front of you was your partner. My partner was at least a head taller than me. When I tried to tell the kid next to me she was his, he refused, so I got stuck. The girl was not only tall, she was strong too. Whenever the lady said, "Swing your partner," she really gave me a swing. I was afraid that if she ever let go, I would go flying through the air. As soon as the dance was over, I got away from her as fast as I could. Once in a while, I would see her in the hall, but I always ducked my head so she wouldn't see me. She was a humongous Amazon. That night, just when we were about to turn out the lights, Fred motioned for me to come over and he gave me the book. He probably knew all along he was going to give it to me tonight, but he just wanted to make me wait. He whispered that I should guard the book, and I had to promise that I would show it to no one else in the bunk. You would think it was a secret CIA document, but I really wanted to read it, so I went along with everything. As soon as the lights were out, I pulled the covers over my head and turned on my flashlight. I was so involved in the book, when Fred tapped me on the head, I let out a scream and threw back the covers. He started to laugh, but I was annoyed. "What the hell do you want?" "I just wanted to tell you that the edges of the pages with the good places are turned over." "I saw that already," I said. "Now let me alone." With that, I pulled the covers over my head. This was probably the dirtiest book I had ever read. Some of the kids in my school had read this book already and asked me if I had. At the time, I told them, sure, it was great, but the truth of the matter was a librarian friend of my mother's told her that I was too young for it, so I was forbidden to read it. Ever since that prohibition, I had tried to eat a copy. I could feel myself getting tired, but at the same time, other parts of my body told me I was also getting excited. I guess my tiredness won because I found the book mashed under me and my flashlight still on the next morning when I woke up. I also found one other thing. Sometime during the night, I had had a wet dream. I still feel sort of embarrassed about them, so I changed into a new pair of underpants before I pushed back the covers and started getting dressed. Not as embarrassed or bewildered, though, as I was the first time I had one. That time was really a nightmare. It really wasn't that long ago. In fact, we had just begun our sex lectures in health class. I can remember the gym teacher standing up in front of the class beside a naked rubber dummy of a man, and he was pointing out the different parts when Paul tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Richie, my thing was bigger than his when I was 2 years old." I cracked up and had to put my hands over my mouth to stop, and the teacher gave me a dirty look and said, "Listen up, Mr. Harmon, this is no laughing matter." 5 minutes later, when he turned his back to draw something on the board, Paul tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Guess what the dummy should sing?" I wish I had an Oscar Mayer wiener. I laughed so hard I fell out of my chair. Soon the whole class was singing it. Everyone had to stay after school that day, and I had to call my mother to come get me. She wanted to know what had happened, but I just told her some kid had acted up and the whole class had to stay. The next time we had health, the gym teacher was 5 minutes late, and one kid had pasted an Oscar Mayer label on the dummy, and we were all laughing when he arrived. He threatened to keep the whole class again unless the person who did it confessed. We all stayed again, and by this time my mother was getting angry at the gym teacher. She told me she was going to call the school and report him to the principal, so I persuaded her to wait until he did it again. She wanted to know why I was sticking up for the teacher, and I said he was really a nice guy and I didn't want to see him get into trouble. My own personal experience with wet dreams came about a month later. One night, I suddenly woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning and felt sort of wet and cold. I think I had been dreaming, but I don't really remember. I tried to fall back to sleep, but the longer I lay there, the wetter and colder I seemed to feel. I reached into my underpants and felt something sticky, and that's when I panicked. I turned on the light beside my bed and looked at my fingers. It was very difficult to see because my vision was still blurry, but what I could make out looked a little like Elmer's glue. I threw back the covers and noticed a small stain about the size of a quarter on the front of my underpants, and a matching one on the sheet where I had been resting. I slowly pulled the waistband of my underpants to look when I heard my mother yell, "Richie, are you okay?" Oh my God, I thought, what if she comes in? I quickly let go of the waistband. "I'm fine, Mom. I just had to blow my nose." "You're not sick." "She knows. I know she knows. She'll be in here soon. I'm doomed." "No, Mom, really, I'm fine." I decided I had to see what was going on. So I got out of bed and went into the bathroom. I looked inside my underwear. Maybe there was something wrong with my penis, like it was injured. I looked at it, but it didn't seem swollen and it didn't hurt when I touched it. I tried to go to the bathroom. No luck. I turned on the water. Still no luck. Oh my God, what do you do if your penis is broken? What happens to the pee? Thank God I didn't have to wait for an answer to my question because I began to go. Now I was more puzzled than ever. Maybe I have some horrible disease. Oh no, I'm going to die. Maybe I'm dying right now. I better clean up the mess in my bed and get my dirty underwear in the hamper because I don't know how long I'm going to last. I quickly cleaned things up and got back in bed. What if I don't last until morning? I jumped out of bed and found a crayon and a piece of paper. Dear Mom, Dad, Robbie, and Sally, I began. Then it hit me. I remembered the sex lectures and the talk about wet dreams. I really wasn't paying much attention when the gym teacher talked about them. But now I wished I had. I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to die. I got back into bed. Then I went to sleep. I can smile now when I think about that night, but then it wasn't funny. Hey, Richie, said Fred. Looks like you enjoyed the book last night. I looked down. I guess I had. I tried to avoid my brother and sister as much as possible. They're such pains. But the other day, when I was leaving the dining room after lunch, Robbie spotted me before I could get away. He yelled, Hey, Richie, Mommy told me to show you this letter. Robbie said. I took it. Dear Robbie, how are you? We are all fine. Last weekend we visited Aunt Edna at the shore. The weather was very hot. I can't wait to see you on visiting day. Send me a list of things you want. We have only gotten 3 letters from your brother. Please show him this letter and tell him to write. Love and kisses, Mommy and Daddy. Don't forget to write, Richie. I have written, but the letter says, I can read. Hey, Richie, what's this I hear that you got in a fight with one of your bunkmates? It was nothing. What happened? You know that tall guy, Jimmy, the one with the curly hair? He called me a jerk, so I popped him one. Good for you. That kid's got potential, I thought. Well, see you later. Don't forget to write. I told you I would. Well, don't forget. Just when I think Robbie's getting to be like one of the guys, he spoils it by acting like my brother. I really hate to write letters. There's nothing interesting to say. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of a familiar little dumpy shape leaving the dining hall. It was my sister. Maybe if I just stood still, she wouldn't recognize me. Just be cool. Don't breathe. She's probably halfway up to the bunk by now. You've made it home free. Deep breath. Hey, Richie, Mommy told me to give you this letter. Forget it, Sally. I know what it says. If she tells me to write, I'll kill her. I can see the headlines. Angry brother kills sister. Dear Mom and Dad, how are you? I am fine. I killed Sally yesterday. Love, Richie. Well then, Richie, don't say it, Sally. I'm going to write. I promise I'll do it. Richie, how long until visiting day? Another week, Sally. It'll pass fast. You'll see. I really miss Mommy and Daddy. Listen, Sally, I have to go and write Mom and Dad a letter. So long, Richie. See ya, Sally. What am I going to write? I thought as I walked back to the bunk. I got out a postcard and addressed it. What will I've got it. Dear Mom and Dad. The rest of the card I left blank. In the bottom left-hand corner I wrote, This letter has been written in invisible ink, put over a flame to get a message. Now for more important things. And that's the end of chapter 8.